Hi, friends.
Welcome back to the Color Room.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Alicia.
And today, we heard you wanted to become an educator.
Woo woo!
So, Alicia and I are both educators for the brand Moroccan Oil, and we thought that we would share some commonly asked questions of our experience of being Moroccan Oil artists.
Yeah, so it all first started, to be honest, I never saw myself becoming an educator at all. Maybe like when I was younger as a teacher, but not in the hair industry. Never thought it was like in my cards, I guess you can say. But I wanted the salon to be a Moroccan Oil expert salon. In order to do that, I had to take a certification class. So we got the tickets for free. And when I hired Lauren, I knew she wanted to be a hair educator. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for you because I know it's like a step towards that. So we went, and it was really cool.
Yeah, it was the first in-person class we did since COVID. So this was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I had just gotten engaged. It was May.
Yes.
I had just gotten engaged, and I had a broken foot.
Yep.
So it was quite the experience the first time working, seeing people that now I work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I was also 23. It seems like such a long time ago.
And I feel like our journey in becoming artists for Moroccan Oil is very different from everyone else's.
Yes.
They had announced that at the end of that 3 days that they're going to be launching color March the next year, and they were like, we're looking for hair educators, and we had submit a video that they made us take.
We had to do, because during the class they had us go over facilitation skills. It is now, I believe it's the Moroccan Oil Ambassador Program.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it goes over all things Moroccan Oil, now including color, but at the time before we had our color line and it was just our wet line. It was cutting, styling, all the fundamental basics of Moroccan Oil. So we had to do little intro videos because there was almost a social media segment in a way, where we had to introduce ourselves and one of our favorite products. I know mine was the Moroccan Oil texture, or dry texture spray.
I think mine was Mending Infusion.
That one surprised me.
Yeah.
But at the end, one of the REMs, the regional educational manager, she was like, if you're interested, email me your little 30-second video. And we had to fill out a questionnaire, which if you're in the Moroccan Oil family, you would know we love our surveys. And it was 5 questions. Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks later, we were on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
So I feel like ours is a little unconventional when it comes to how we joined the company. Because I know a lot of our friends said that they applied and auditioned for the role. And not that necessarily Moroccan Oil came to us, but it was one of those things that
it kind of fell into our laps.
It was like a shot in the dark. They're looking for educators. I just sent in a 30-second video, which I already took, and answer 5 questions. Sure.
And that was me. I never thought I would ever do that. And I was just like, Lauren's doing it. I'll just do it too. Let me just submit, because there's nothing to lose here.
Yeah, if they say no, they say no.
Yeah.
But real imposter syndrome though.
Literally.
In the sense of because I was 23. Who the hell should I have been educating? And one of the questions of the survey was your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
So they're stalking you.
Oh yeah.
Just like they are right now. Hi, Lindsay.
If you're listening, Lindsay, we love you.
She is our REM, and she is wonderful. Yes. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I remember at the time being again, a shot in the dark, being this isn't going to happen, but how cool would it be if it would? Because I was looking to work for a different company, and then COVID happened. Mm-hmm. So I was doing some traveling for another company, taking their certification classes in order to take their exam and audition for one of their artist positions. And I think it's so funny because I have friends who have and are in that company, and you have to pay for it yourself, and it could be anywhere in the country. And so it's very expensive. And it's kind of weird to me still to this day to think I was willing to put out, at the time when I had mapped it out, because a lot of them did take place in New York City. So flight wasn't a huge thing, even though I did fly for some of them, was $10,000 to become an educator.
Yeah.
And then I literally just filled out a five question survey with a 30-second video.
Here we are.
And they're like, hey, you want to come educate for us?
It's true. It's a wild experience. I have to say it, but like, I truly love it. It's something, again, for the 5th time, I never saw myself doing it, but I'm so glad I do it. Like, I've really come to love education and, you know, teaching others and, like making other people like when they get that, like that aha moment for them, and I'm like, I did that, or like
that was me.
I made that click for you. And something as simple as like, I've had a couple people come up to me after class and like give me a hug and they're like, thank you so much. And I was like, that like, it really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like taking a moment to like, okay, I helped that person. It makes me feel good.
I know for me, something I always love, and maybe you'll like, as an educator, you'll understand this, and I'm sure as a salon owner, you won't. When people have me come in and the salon owner doesn't want to take the class, and they're like, here's all my new girls, like basically like train them. I absolutely love doing beginner classes because you get so many of those aha moments of people being able to do something they never thought they were capable of because no one took the time to show them. And a lot of times, especially like, I'm 25. So realistically, behind the chair, I don't have 10 years of experience behind the chair. Like, yeah, I started sweeping hair in a salon and answering phones when I was 16, but that's not behind the chair experience.
Exactly, yeah.
But it is one of those things where I'm like, I'm only a few years older than them a lot of times.
It's like they can see it and they can achieve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I love working with some of the greener stylists.
Yeah.
Especially on those, because when they get those ahas, and then when they do it and they message you about it, and they're like, I did it. Like, here's what I did. It's like almost like a fad, like older sister moment where you're like, oh my, like, yes.
Again, helping someone get to that level, it really makes you feel good. And I think, especially for me, like no one ever took the time to teach me. And I always had to learn on my own and figure it out on my own. So if I can help someone else, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, even if it's just that little step in the journey.
Like, honestly, we taught a class
on Monday
together, which was fun. And literally it was an updo class. And one of the takeaways was literally using a comb and like with the cornrow.
Oh, yes.
And that was their biggest, like, oh my God. And me and you were laughing because you're like, we would have never thought like that would have, out of all the things we showed you, that is what clicked for you.
But that's always the thing.
It's fun. Like, I love seeing like those different things that make people like, oh, I got it, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting to hear other people's struggles behind the chair. And especially because, again, I feel like when we joined Moroccan Oil, like, I mean, I can only speak from my own perspective in this sense, but I feel like I gained 10 years of experience behind the chair.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really prep you for every situation.
They do.
And, like, it was just one of those things that, like, every time we have training, I come back to the salon so much more confident. But so when I can give that to somebody else, that is just such a good feeling.
It makes you feel good. So, like, that is definitely one of the perks. Like, let's talk about some of the perks, right? So, I know we get training at least once a year. They've been kind of doing it twice a year. And
since we've come on, it has been twice.
We get Zoom meetings, like, every now and again, too. And I have to say, that alone, those 3-4 days of training are so intense. Like, when I tell you, it is so tiring, but it's worth every, like, I would give it my all just because we get so much great information. And then not only do we get to bring it to stylists, but we get to bring it back to the salon and use it behind the chair. So, like, honestly, it's like free education in a sense.
Absolutely.
So
I know education was always a very important thing to me throughout my career. And I remember going, like, being in beauty school and having guest artists come in from any brand and just watching them and be like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to go into a room and know what I'm talking about. As dumb as that sounds. But, like, at 16, I was like, that was everything.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that for me, I would budget out how much I would want to spend on education each year. Because let's be real, classes can be very expensive. And we are very fortunate in the sense that we live outside of New York City, that we can drive in. Yeah. And a lot of hair brands including Morocco, have academies and things like that inside New York City.
Yeah.
So when we want to go take a class, yes, we're paying for the class of face value, which can be $1,200.
Travel.
But we don't have to pay for travel like that. Mm-hmm. I know I've done classes for them where I've just driven in and out.
Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah.
You know, where I'm not getting on the plane. I'm not staying for like paying for hotel stay and things like that.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate in that sense. But when a class is still $1,200, a class is still $1,200. That's still an investment that you need to make. And I know, especially when I was an assistant, that wasn't the kind of money that I had sitting around in my bank account.
Like, let me just put this out there. Yeah.
So it was.
I think it's definitely hard.
Yeah.
To like to think about, but education is so important. And I tell everyone, even my clients, they're like, you're going for education. I'm like, I never want to be the hairdresser who thinks that they know everything. Because I don't. And I tell my classes that too. I'm like, listen, I'm here to learn from you too. And I don't think I know everything.
We all have takeaways at the end of the class. Mm-hmm. No, listen, I think we've talked about it before. Yeah. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Because if I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And again, when you're educating, I would like to be one of the smarter people in the room since I'm the one commanding the room. But again, that doesn't mean we don't have takeaways from other people. Absolutely. And let's talk about another thing, another nice perk of the job. Perk. I haven't bought shampoo or any hair product of Moroccan oil since I started working for them.
It's because they send us
send us little care packages and give us goodie bags all the time, which very, very, very thankful for them. And they started including their body line, not last year, the year before, I think.
I know, it's so nice.
I think I have 6 of the Moroccan oil body lotions at home. Mm-hmm. But I'm not giving it up.
I know, I have a bunch too, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep these.
Yeah,
I literally have like one in each bathroom in the kitchen. Yeah. I'm like, it's fine. Everyone needs to, you know,
between the hand cream, the body lotion, the hand wash.
Oh, I love the hand wash
and the body butter.
So good. So definitely major perk is the products for sure.
And we also get the PR packages. So whenever something new comes out, we do get to play around with it.
And we get Christmas presents.
We do get Christmas presents. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might get a few little lab samples to try every now and then.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. But you work for those lab samples. What was it? Not last year. Was it the year before? Every month we had a new survey in our emails to fill out on all Moroccan products. What do we think we're missing from the line? What do you think we can improve on? Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting now to see some of those things starting to come to market.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're like, like, I remember when they came out with the 2-pound lightener. I'm like, I voted for that. I voted for that. My voice matters.
Yeah, like all that stuff. It's great. And honestly, like, I was in a focus group for them for the curls. And
I forgot to put that on my
giving my feedback and like listening to other hairstylists and like artists with the same feedback as me. I thought it was actually really cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that they took it into consideration because at training they tell us what's up and coming. I'm not saying anything now, but a lot of the stuff was what we said. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I do have to say, it's such a tease to know what's coming throughout the whole entire year and not have it.
But we can't, and not say anything.
I cannot say it. That's fine.
But when do we get to have it?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And there is one very exciting launch. I'm not saying it.
You can't say it.
But salon professionals will have their hands on it before Sephora and Ulta's and things like that.
And that's really cool.
So I'm really excited for that one.
There's something else coming down the line that is way too far down the line. And I need it like yesterday. But
we can't. We can't tease the people.
But let's talk a little bit about like the community of being an educator. Like, do you feel like we have a very different community than most hair brands with Moroccan oil?
Again, I can only speak from my perspective. Mm-hmm. I have to say I love being in a room filled with like-minded people. I find it very empowering. And especially, I feel like, and we've touched on this before with the idea that the industry is changing in the sense of like the cattiness and the competitiveness.
I agree.
It's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a room full of like-minded people who are all wanting to better themselves, beautiful things happen.
Literally. I feel like every training I go in,
we get closer and closer with everybody.
Yeah, and everyone's just so excited and building each other up. And I feel like the energy in that room it's crazy. It's
just one of those things too that like, because we're still stylists, we still have our struggles behind the chair, And even when you're in there, like, I know for me, braiding is not my strong suit. I can do it, I can teach it, but it's not something that I would prefer to choose a style that has very intricate braiding in it to demo in a class. But I remember we were doing, it was actually one of the styles that we showed in our class on Monday, the corset braid. And doing those braids, man. And on mannequins, I will say it's a little harder because
It's a lot harder.
as you demoed it because you took one for the team.
The only reason I've gotten better at doing cornrows,
Yes.
but because I've had to teach it, I've in my mind taught myself
how to
easier way to do it to teach.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be my teach back last January.
Oh, that's
so
true.
I was practicing.
You finally got to do it.
Finally got to do it.
One of the mannequins with it is sitting behind the camera, but I remember I was struggling with doing the braids so badly, and one of the other educators, Miss Angie Grahams, came up and she was like, and this was my favorite part about her approach. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you need help, I'm behind you. Okay, I see what you're doing, girl. I see you struggling. If you need
help, ask for help.
Yeah, but like I like how it wasn't immediately like, oh, let me show you. She was like, if you want just a tip, let me know. And I looked at her, and I'm pretty sure I almost had tears in my eyes because training can be just a lot mentally. And I was like, Mom, help. But it was one of those things that we're all educators. We're all trained on how to facilitate, but we're also still people, and we still talk to each other that way. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also think I'm not going to let her fail so that I'm better than her. I'm going to help her out.
Yes.
And I feel like that is a major thing too, because we are all, in a sense, we're all competing with each other in the sense of wanting to better ourselves in education and move up within the company.
Absolutely.
But we all want to see each other get there.
But there is a no man left behind kind of policy with it.
And I really like that. I feel like we've had some really great friendships bloom from this, and like I feel like we even want to go on a girls trip. Like it's just,
we were literally just talking about that today in our group chat.
Like we just want to hang out with our new friends, and they've literally become like family in a sense. So
because educating is a completely different beast from being behind the chair.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it's a different beast from being a salon owner. And a lot of the people who are educators are salon owners. We all have so much in common in the things that we love and that we're passionate about.
Yeah.
And then just finding more common ground. It really is a family connection.
I also like that because we're all from different parts of the country, that we get to see and like take away different things that everyone does differently. You know, like we do color very differently than, most, or like California, or even like
everyone
Midwest,
has their own twist on things.
Twist.
Not the twitch.
Twist. And I think it's really cool to kind of see it for sure.
Yeah. No, and I think what's really cool about that too is that if something's trending in one area and hasn't quite come over to the next area yet, we kind of already have like that little like, hey, I know how to do that.
Yeah, I feel like when we first started, it was very much like the beach waves were like really popular, and I feel like not everyone did them on their Instagram, but like we did.
Yes.
And I remember like one of the REMs was like, just style like you normal, like how you do on Instagram, and I was like, wow, like it's almost like weird to think like me because I can style that way.
Yeah. No, because we were at what was it? We were at the academy.
It was an event.
We were doing a Christmas event for the sales team, and so we were on finishing duty that night, and the REM was really just like, just do what you do on your Instagrams, ladies, and we're just like, thanks, Mom.
Like what? And I feel like that is also like imposter syndrome. Like I'm not good. Like I am good, but like in your mind you're like, how can I be doing this? Like I'm not good at what I do, but like obviously we are good enough to do that.
No, I think it's funny. I had that moment when I was in Vegas because some of the newer educators who had just joined, cause they did the same thing that we did.
Oh yeah,
you join the company, you follow everybody,
everyone.
If you see Moroccan artists in their bio, you're following them. Oh. So it was actually really interesting to meet people and almost get recognized by my Instagram handle because they recognize me as one of the other artists, and for them to put like my face, like name to a face kind of thing, and they'd be like, oh my God, I'm just like, because like, I don't know, I'm just like Joe Schmo down the street.
Exactly.
But when we were over there, the second we're like, oh, we work for the company, everyone had a different air around you all of a sudden.
It's so funny. Like, it is so crazy, honestly.
It was funny, actually.
I love it. All right, what's next? Something we didn't expect?
Yeah. Something we didn't expect when educating.
What?
Or just like...
Do you want to do like good first and then bad? Or you want to do like... I feel like a rose and a thorn.
Rose and thorn. All right. Am I going first?
You go first, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to think.
My thorn. I can think of two things particularly, neither of which are really that big of a deal. But A, there's paperwork that has due dates. Mm-hmm. Lauren. So just, I think being someone who just was behind the chair, when you go home, you can't take your work with you. Compared to being an educator, there's a lot of hands-on prep that has to be done on your own time. Like, we had the updo class. We did all the updos that we were going to demo and show pre-done on mannequins so that way they could see the finished product. We were also washing them, blow drying, styling. Yeah. I was making swatches. Like,
there's a lot of prep work. Yeah.
There's prep work into it as well as practice.
Yes.
Which you should always be practicing anyway. Which I actually just read a very interesting quote. It's the 10,000 hour theory. I actually have it written down in my notebook. No, I was taking notes. Yeah, it's the 10,000 hour by Michael Gladwell, I think. And the idea is that it takes 10,000 hours of practicing something to master it.
Interesting.
And so what I actually did in the back room was I looked how many years I've been behind the chair and times that by 365 days.
There you go.
And then by 8 hours in the day, because I was like, how
long?
Am I a master at it yet? Yeah. We have like 8,000.
Man, I want to do mine.
But like, it was like,
that's so funny.
But like, yeah, I kind of like broke it down that way. But it was interesting.
That's very interesting.
But yeah, so a lot of practice goes into it, and there's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
You get used to having an office in your car in a sense. I mean, not all the time, but like there are definitely classes I've taught, we've taught classes together that are 8 hours away.
Yeah. No, there can be a lot of like travel for sure.
Yeah, getting used to being in airports. Mm-hmm. I am now a proud member of my new tier in United.
That's great.
I now get free upgrades and free check-on luggage. Thanks, Moroccan Oil.
I love that.
But no, in my roses, because I don't want those to all sound like bad things, but they're just things that I wasn't.
I would say they're not prepared.
Yeah, when I became an educator, there just weren't things that I necessarily thought about.
No.
Because again, when I saw about educating was through Instagram, and no one's showing you the long car rides or, doing the paperwork and, sitting there and curling and braiding 6 mannequins. And so my roses would definitely more be, again, the community and the education that we get.
Yeah.
And also one of the other perks is that we do get some vouchers for classes. They do like us to keep up on our education outside of training, so they do give us plenty of opportunity to go to the academy and taking the price tag away or reducing it by a lot, so it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, but like those are roses. I love the fact that we have a community and that we have people that we trust within the company. And that we get so much freaking education. I don't know. For me, I've always loved education, but especially as an educator, I see even more value in it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like everything, the confidence that comes with it, the opportunity. We've done stuff that
I would never think.
Beauty school Lauren would be on our ass.
Yeah. Alicia would fall on the floor. Like, literally.
Like, yeah.
I'm trying to think of my thorn. I have to agree with you. I mean, I don't necessarily mind the paperwork aspect of it.
It's not the paperwork itself, it's me getting it in on time.
Yeah.
Which is such a
I just
me
do it,
thing.
right away, so I don't have to, think about it.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like, Lauren.
But I would say a thorn would be having to talk to salon owners. And I know that's stupid, but
sometimes they don't. We're prepping for classes before they're even thinking about it.
Yeah, so we're supposed to call and talk to them 2 weeks before we go into the salon, and getting a hold of them can be really hard. And it's you have an educator coming. Why can't you take the time to talk to me. But
I have 3 questions to ask.
I have 3 questions to ask because I'm trying to like make sure that what you're getting from this class is truly what you want. And so I will say, and sometimes it can be a little nasty. So I will say salon owners are not my favorite to talk to.
Yeah.
So that would be a thorn. I don't mind the driving. I actually enjoy the driving.
I've learned
that's my like
tips and tricks to enjoy the drive more.
Yeah, it's my peace of mind. Like, I mean, I run, like, I have the salon, I'm behind the chair, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and it's literally my, like an hour a piece.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to, like music I haven't listened to in a while, jam out to, like, some T-Swift, and call it a day. So, but anyway, so I won't say that's a thorn. So I think, honestly, my biggest thorn is talking to salon owners.
Okay.
I just don't like it.
No, because I've definitely had salon owners who I just keep leaving messages, and then they'll reach out to the distributor and be like, the educator never reached out. And I'm like, here's every time I called and texted you and emailed you, but thank you.
Yeah.
For me, the driving, it's again not necessarily a thorn. It's just something that I didn't anticipate, like I didn't think about, but it makes sense. No, because I used to have the issue where going to class, 7 a.m. leaving my house, I'm bopping to music.
It's the ride home.
It's the ride home because if anybody works weddings, I call it wedding brain, where like afterwards you're mentally just kind of a little like, what? That's sometimes how I feel after teaching a class, especially with bigger classes or slightly more advanced classes where you use so much of your brain power. And that going home, that music just drowns right out. I've learned to listen to either podcasts
or be honest, books. We usually call each other after class. So like that usually takes up like an hour. Honestly, the furthest I've drove was to Syracuse class. I literally drove 4.5 hours in the morning for literally, I think it was like a 9 or a 10 hour start time. Maybe it was 10. I literally was up at like 4:30, like way early. And then I go back that same day because I didn't want to stay in a hotel room by myself.
So 3 hours in my head is typically my limit because I'm like, if it's over 3 hours, I will stay. And then I never end up doing it. Wait.
Because I never want to
stay. Why don't you do it? I never want to drive up the night before.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I think this was after your Syracuse class. The next day, I had a class an hour past that.
Yeah.
And they canceled and never told me.
Yeah.
And so I showed up to an 8-hour, like it was a full day class. So I had everything prepared and it was a color class. And I was like, how am I going to fill a full like 8 hours with a lunch? Mm-hmm. Like, how am I going to fill? I came up with activities. I redid the slideshow. I showed up and they're just like, why are you here? And I was like, and then the employee got off the phone with the owner, and the owner was like, tell her to call me. I'm like, why couldn't I just pick up the phone when you were on the phone? But whatever. Called him. He didn't pick up. Never called me back.
It's crazy. But fun fact, on these long car rides, when me and Lauren would talk to each other, we would say how great it would be if we started a podcast. We could literally talk about everything and anything for hours. So
Here we are.
So thank you to the long car rides for creating our podcast.
No, my favorite is when I would call Alicia after class and she'd just be like, oh, finally, I was waiting. And I'm like, I talk too much. I'm there a half hour afterwards just chit-chatting as I clean up and answering any last questions and doing...
I'm waiting for you to call me.
I am diddly and daddling.
We like to debrief for classes.
Oh, yes, we do.
So, but anyway, so I would say, and then my rose would be...
there's definitely more roses than thorns.
Oh, 100%. Like we already said, like the education, the opportunities. I feel like it did make me a better hairdresser. I think it made me a better salon owner.
It opened my mind a lot.
Yeah.
To like really get creative with like just anything.
Yeah. And I feel like it's pushing me in a direction I never thought I'd be pushed into, and I'm really grateful for that because it's giving me more opportunity within what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
So I have like different paths and goals now.
I think education in our field, in our career, education is definitely a pathway that you can take, and it can open up to even more doorways.
I agree.
But no, I agree with like it literally has opened my mind to just different opportunities, different ways to work hair cutting and coloring where now what seems very basic to me, I guess, is considered more advanced, because there are times that I go into salons. We had a moment at our class on Monday where we were talking about using zigzag and diagonal partings, and everyone was like not confused on it, but they're like, so why? And I was like, well, think about hair color, think about hair cutting. What does a horizontal line compared to a vertical line do? And like how everyone's just like they almost had to think about it. And I'm like, do you guys not take basic like movement of hair into every, but it wasn't something that I did until I became an educator. Like it wasn't something that I did so effortlessly, I guess.
Your brain
to think
a different way, because now you're thinking about. Sometimes we get in our ways, like we just do to do, because we don't know why we're doing it. We're just doing it.
This pattern just always works and blah blah blah.
It's fine, but when you're an educator, you have to think of why you're doing that so that you can teach.
What do we need to know, Alicia? Our why.
Miss Kelly Bowen. So yeah, but I think those are good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh. Advice for anybody wanting to be an educator. Now, we are educators for brands. We are not independent educators, so I will throw that out there. So, or something that you would tell your past self when she started.
Say research. I would say research the brands that you want to work for. If you're going to like throw yourself into it and like say you really want to work for a brand, I would make sure that you research the brands, make sure they have the same beliefs and
like morals,
and morals that you can do, and that would be probably the best thing for you, because you don't want to align yourself with a brand that maybe
you don't align with.
They don't do things the way that you would, and then like you're kind of like doing it anyway just because you want to work for that brand and build up within the company. Like, don't forget who you are.
Yeah.
So like, yes, working for a brand is great. Like I love Moroccan Oil. I think they are an awesome company. They have good morals, they have good value, and I align myself with them because I believe the same things that they do. So, but I'm also not going to forget who I am just because I want to move up or whatever. Yeah. That's what I would say.
No, I agree. I would say, well, two things come to mind. The first is if you want to work for a brand, reach out to them.
Yeah, 100%. Don't stop yourself.
No, I can't think of one brand that I know that doesn't have an educating team to some degree. And even it doesn't have to be color either. It can be styling. There are educators that just style. There are educators that just cut.
I'm personally like, yes, we teach color too. I personally like the cutting and the styling. I don't really love to teach color.
See, and I love teaching color. But again, like you can align yourself with brands that share the same values as you, as well as the same niches as you. Like for me, Moroccan Oil fits very well. I'm a lived-in artist. That's what I do. I do a lot of soft blends and things like that. And that's a lot of what Moroccan Oil represents in when they show their visuals for color. Yeah. But so I would say don't be afraid to try for any brand, regardless of whether it's Moroccan Oil or not. I mean, join our family. We're great. But if there's a brand that you love out there, go for it, because the worst they're going to say is no, and 9 times out of 10 well, no, it's not even that. Even if they did say no,
you're still getting noticed,
but they might tell you why they're saying no, and it might give you a roadmap to how to say yes. Show you what you need to improve upon, or you could just be like us and just throw it out there and
just do it.
See it.
Honestly, you never know. You throw something to the wall, see if it sticks.
Spaghetti. No, and I would say No, and I would say my second one is like, don't be the reason that you hold yourself back. Because this was something I wanted. Yeah. Sometimes the unknown is beautiful, because instead of looking at something like, oh, I have to do this in order to become an educator, you have the opportunity to do it. Flip the script. I get the opportunity to audition for a brand that I love, to get recognized by a company that I love, to build a community within that company, to meet like-minded people. It's an opportunity.
It is. I think it's good. And honestly, like, you never know. Like, for me, for instance, I never knew I wanted to go down this path. And
Yeah.
I literally was just like, oh, I'm going to submit this video for shits and giggles. And look at me now. So,
look at me now.
Look at me now, baby. So, I mean, yeah. You had nothing to lose, literally.
And everything to gain.
And everything to gain. I like that. I'm going to end on that
note. And with that being said,
we are Moroccan.
With that being said, we are Moroccan artists. We love what we do. I feel like today was actually a good day. I'm wearing my branded.
Oh, look at that!
Hey. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. If you are educators, let us know what brand you educate for. If you educate for Moroccan, hi fam. And would you ever want to become an educator? Or have you been an educator?
Or if you have questions, let us know. We can maybe answer them too.
And on that note,
adios.